GIMAC theme for this year is corruption and governance, impact and way out for women, children, and youth.
The objective of this two-day meeting include: 1, to strengthen and improve the capability of CSOs to engage with heads of government on the burden and impact of corruption on sustainable Africa and development of gender-sensitive unified anti-corruption framework. 2 is to create an inclusive anti-corruption vanguard to identify and document best practices and lessons, as well as corruption vulnerability index for Africa. 3 is to strengthen multi-stakeholders processes between the CSO, the African Advisory Board on Corruption, and the African Union Commission, the African Union Ministers of Gender and Women's Affairs, regional economic communities, and the United Nations agencies, and foster better coordinated.
I'm really delighted to return to GIMAC in this special year. You are marking 15 years of your pre-summit, but 10 years officially linked with the African Union, where you have been doing extraordinary work.
Now, we all understand that corruption refers to systemic, unethical processes that work to bestow privileges and facilitate undue advantage for persons who are already advantaged, for people who have political, financial, and social power. This system also perpetuates inequality and oppression. And the way it does this is by rewarding the privileged and deepening the vulnerabilities of the disadvantaged.
So we ask ourselves, where is this money gone? We haven't seen it in our lives. So we become very concerned. Our roads are still potholed. Our public hospitals continue overcrowded. We don't have public education, and so on and so forth. We don't have social security.
We know that a lot of people who go to governance processes are through the political processes. The political mechanisms themselves are very corrupt, and therefore women shy off from engaging in the politics, and those who sometimes engage, they are co-opted through the patronization of the political systems, the way we know them.
Yet forms of corruption impacting global health are endemic worldwide, and even worse in African states, in both public and private sectors. Most states in Africa continue to experience allegations of misuse of funds and fraud in global health initiatives which hamper future investment. We call them allegations because we never really get to the bottom of it, so they remain allegations.
So when we see the legislative structure versus the protection of the rights of women, our corrupted legislative structure leads into insufficient legislations and dysfunctional legislations, and means better economic status accompanied by corrupted thinking and action, entrusts them the power to ignore issues of women, which seeks for enactment of legislation. For example, we lack comprehensive law on domestic violence as well as sexual harassment.
The corruption in the land sector has been defined as abuse of power and authority by those in charge of land. We are also aware that more than 80% of the land in Africa is governed under customary law. And this is administered by the traditional leaders in their institutions.
How is it that women are more susceptible to land in relation to corruption? Land is the primary livelihood resource for a majority of women in the continent. And within this environment where we have the women relying on land as a primary source of livelihood, we have existing patriarchal norms which promote gender land inequalities.
Policy, national policy to say we're going to distribute free uniform to students, we're going to give students free books and all that, yet it doesn't get to the students. And these are some of the corrupt tendencies. How? Because government does this and then they don't add any M&E component to it.
When people talk about corruption, they all talk about money, robbery, bribes, and all other things, but they don't contribute on the feelings and mind. My virginity was corrupted, and also my feelings have been corrupted. Someone whom I put trust on, which was the wrong person to put my trust on. I fell into marriage at the age of 16 when I fell pregnant. I dropped out of school and started to be a mother. I fell pregnant at the age of 16 when I was in my Form 2 in 2014. I gave birth at the age of 17 in 2015. My husband knew that I wanted to go to school, and he really knew that, but he disappointed me. I have faith in him that one day you will make my dreams come true, and I always believe in that.
The most direct cause of corruption is the waste of financial resources that gets misdirected.
The eminent and prominent persons that we may think, corruption is all over. That's why it is a threat. Right in the villages is there. Right with our chiefs is there. In all sectors of the society, it's a vice. And one of the key persons affected, as I've already indicated, are the youth.
It undermines the values of democracy, and acts of corruption deprives we, the youths, of our constitutional and human rights, such as housing, healthcare, education, security, and welfare, and makes us more vulnerable.
African leaders and African countries should accelerate efforts in providing justice and elimination of corruption, provide quality education, health, including sexual and reproductive health rights, economic empowerment, and elimination of harmful practices such as early and forced child marriage and female mutilation.
The second recommendation is for the African Union to encourage our member states to establish anti-corruption commissions in all African countries, and young people should sit in the board of those commissions.
And isn't it time we start to think about alternatives to mining? We know that these resources at some point they will end. Why can't we focus on other initiatives through advocating for gender responsive budgeting?
Ils ne peuvent pas nous donner la place, ils ne peuvent pas nous donner une partie, ou ils ne peuvent pas nous donner un poste qu'on ne mérite pas. Ils ont parfaitement raison. Mais qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait pour qu'on puisse mériter ce poste? Ils doivent investir quand même dans notre éducation. Ils doivent mettre quand même les fonds nécessaires pour notre émancipation. Pourquoi cela? Parce que nous sommes des femmes. Non, à bas le silence. On doit maintenant parler. Pas parce que nous sommes des femmes, pas parce que nous sommes des enfants, mais nous sommes des citoyens comme eux. On doit parler. On doit mettre fin à la corruption. Cette corruption qui est en train de nous mettre dans un déséquilibre économique. Cette corruption qui est en train de nous empêcher d'évoluer. On doit mettre fin à cela. Je vous remercie.
I want to thank the steering committee led by Hendrina and of course the organizing team, the young women who have made it possible that we have a very focused discussion, but also a discussion that continues to bring us to the main theme of the Africa Union, which is corruption. In previous years, we were all over the show and we didn't focus on the theme of the year. But this time around, I've seen such an improvement. Congratulations to GIMAC, congratulations to the Executive Committee.
Every corruption to be stopped must start from me and you. Thank you for now.
No to corruption!